After our mother passed away in June 1937, our grandparents, Katie and Ambrose Bagley, raised us. My sister, Nancy Spencer Harvey, and I were raised the old native traditional way. Our grandmother, Katie, had absolute control of our chore assignments, parenting, and tribal behavioral teachings. In her own quiet way, she emphasized the spiritual belief in our Mother Earth and the longhouse spiritual way of tribal life. Our grandmother planted the spiritual seed to love Mother Earth. Grandfather Ambrose never interfered with his mate's parenting and her strict discipline. He hoped that I would follow him into the Indian Shaker faith. The following poems are the inner struggle I had with my grandfather's Shaker faith. Unfocused Child. At the start of a Sunday Mass service, the Indian Shakers donned their stark white garments with a light blue cross sewn on the front. I squirmed on a wooden bench. I groped for breath and sighed in the far northwest corner of the Indian Shaker Church. A wayward child that glanced for support from my grandfather, so terrified that their Holy Ghost would gut out my own guilty soul with their strict judgment of faith. I had no desire to fail my own grandfather and their Holy Ghost. I only sought to bolt outside from their blur of holy whiteness, thrust myself into harmless forest. I meant no harm to the Indian Shakers. Words of Faith. Sunday I sat on the bench underneath the northwest window of the wooden frame Tulalip Indian Shaker Church. The banked mass of white candles flamed there God's light. My grandfather turned around with a lone candle held aloft. In his trembling left hand, his tense face grew solemn, with his eyes closed tightly. Soulful grandfather approached the holy altar at the east wall. His whole body trembled as a lucid prayer burst the Shaker Church stillness. His arms drifted out slowly in a prayer gestures to bless his unkempt, mutant grandson. Smothered with ancient heathen belief, I sobbed for his love. Disguised soul. Indian Shaker Church healer makes ceremonial cross gestures. One with a healing power hovers momentarily to stroke the still forehead, drags the white blessed kerchief across this particular child, madhouse of confusion. This mouth groaned shut. Shaker faith from elsewhere used to beckon my soul, suffocating, stillborn, disquiet soul, became of another world, stretched with special painted ceremonial animal hide. Now I am quieter and feel a disturbed peace here. Remembering all that's between sweet morning grass, incense, the mournful owl sound echoes, trembling hands of old found belief, virginal enchantment, whole infantile madness crawls towards me in naked, struggling forms, spew a trail of tears, cleansing the horrors of the past, smallpox blankets, the cultural downfall, cleansing the defiant, earthbound, doomed to become one's own with the world. The old Shaker chant blends in timeless and powerful life rhythms, a disguised world between me and a heathen howl. Power of suggestion, grinning from the dark void of this tired mind, a heathen fetus lay dormant, Tulalip, the gullible thoughts oozed out of this altered subconscious. I could not remember God's purpose in forgiving mankind. Who forgives first, him or I? What's black book interpretation? Throbbing of the red heart, blood gushes round the heathen womb of the Tulalip shook awake. It slipped through the skull and outflanked his judgment on this unbibled Indian soul. I was taught that belief nestled in the passionate heart, not in a book, hidden in the back pocket. The altered subconscious is a lie. I slumbered downward. I slid from this human child body. I slid from my own spirit womb. I have fallen across our mother, earth, displaced recluse, reborn. Strong-willed. I felt as though the blazing heat from his candle had scarred this mind, his fate sealed out. Passive grandfather's sacred knowledge of the Indian Shaker faith preyed on his backward grandson. I dare not offend him with his healing touch. I flinched as his thick, callous hand stroked my bony head. Surely grandfather might have saved this doubtful renegade child. Yet I bowed stubbornly to the barbaric self. I claimed a child warrior's right to stand alone. I ignored his plea of his God's trust, as his holy words had filled the 1910 Tulalip Shaker Church. I accepted my heathen plight to prance in earthly solitude, double talk, bound around his infinite faith, didn't entune me. So I listened for nature's chant. I lay down to love our Mother Earth. Twilight Prancer. The night is full of muffled noises, subdued murmurs of hailing voices from beyond this fallen world. Streaks of forgotten chants slide through the moist wind. The heathen soul is ours here, brooding just beyond the damnations of holy words. This lost floater strains to prance in the ancient sacred circle, where solemn native spirits drum for this flighty child warrior. I ignored the holy suicidal guilt. O resurrected heathen, I disappear into the twilight, uncontaminated by the black book. An anxious renegade child is lifted into the ancient void. With unrooted fury, I blast along the sacred circle's edge. Along the edge of the twilight, I prance beyond this fallen world. Eyes closed. Just let me get some sleep. I'm bored with that shaker full gospel book. Own sharp-edged teeth slits the unsoiled tongue. Doubter child warrior here. The frustrations of book words dragged across the red tongue stuck out. Tired eyes pinched shut. Blood-swollen eyelids safeguard this heathen's existence. Indian. Hesitant me, who lifts the faith, surrenders to the heathen spirits. Bony shoulders of ancient Indian spirits hold up our eternity. Pacifists. Their confused look speared through the rising mushroom-shaped clouds. Homeland spirits, heavy with heartfelt words for sun, moon, earth, fire, and all creatures. Their shaking feet dangled over Mother Earth, a living shroud of heathen spirits. No sound, only my own farewell exhaled their hell damnation book words. Own belief. This meat-hooked tongue, a bloody altar, dog gut sound erupt deeply from this blood-clot throat. Born again child warrior, chant pulsed out from this unscorched soul. I rose with the trembling ancients bobbing through the burnt cedar bough horizon. Spiritual gateway, just let me sleep with belief. Rebirth can't be hurried. Choked whale, 1956. I stood frozen. Mentally, I measured the distance from my grandfather's open grave, my two dirty souls. Suddenly, I felt very tired with slamming heartbeats. I fought the surging, salty tears with all the willpower I could muster. As a shaker chant drifted at the northeast corner of Tulalip and Priest Point Cemetery, I hated this dreadful moment of life. My body shook contractions of total hopelessness and torment. A penetrating grief tunneled deep within my twitching body. I am alone, hidden beyond the family. An unbridled fright bore up until I tasted my own red blood as weighty teeth clamped across the twisted underlip. Sorrow rose, so exhausted My dazed mind squawked away into the darkness.